Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the Kabbalah Experience. So this is our lesson number 2, and this is also going to be about the workshop. Whereas your first lesson was all about the history of the workshop and also why the workshop works. What are the laws upon which it's based on that make it effective? Okay, that was it. So in this lesson, it's going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to dive deep into the rules of the workshop, the sort of organizational considerations that you're going to need so it all runs smoothly. We're also going to talk about the things that you can expect to happen, to reveal when you are doing the workshop. We're going to talk about sort of different tips and tricks that you're going to need, and also the preparation, because the preparation is absolutely fundamental. Okay, so in this module, we're going to talk about the rules and the organizational considerations. So why do we need rules? That's the first question. And it's specifically with Kabbalah and workshops, we need them because we're dealing with the ego. And the ego is it's a messy business. So we really want to create some space so that we can connect as one. And for that, we need to put the ego aside, right? We need to soften the ego and give us a little bit of room so that we can start to practice this connection. So the rules actually, they equalize us and they set the tone for the workshops. That's very important. Now, are these rules holy? Are they sacrosanct at all? Absolutely not. Okay, so we're not dogmatic in Kabbalah. We only have these rules because they help us get used to feeling each other at the beginning. But afterwards, these rules can change. Instead of 7, like we're going to learn today, you may have 3 that you want to remind yourselves of. And after 3, you may only have 1 rule that you want to mention. And that's because you're going to have felt and learned these rules, and inside yourself you're going to have these checks and balances, and you're going to be more sensitive to the other friends in the circle, and you're not going to need the rules, okay, essentially. So at the beginning, we're going to go over them. Today we're going to go over 7 of these. And then later on, once you know the rules, you no longer need them. You may have to repeat them again if you have folks that are new to the workshop and to the circles and that don't know them, but that'll be on a case-by-case basis. So we're going to be using the PowerPoint quite a bit, all right? So I'll be naming the rule, I'll be talking and elaborating on it a little bit, and then we'll be moving on. So the first rule is equality, okay? So there are no more or less important members of the circle. Okay, when we sit down and we are facing each other, everyone is equal and very important. All right, we're trying to build our root. We're trying to build a kli, a vessel. So every single one of the friends is absolutely essential to keep that concentration, to keep that desire within the circle. If one of us falls out, then of course it's like a vessel that breaks and you can't contain anything in it, right? So no one is more important just because he speaks very well or he's very articulate. This is not a reason why he's more important. Another reason why people think that someone is more important is because they've been in Kabbalah for 10 years. And again, that is not important. The important thing is that we are all participating in the circle, all right? So because they can speak better, they're dressed better, they're more powerful, and also each one of the friends shouldn't overpower the other, okay? That he speaks better, that he wants to be outstanding. So to be outstanding is actually counterproductive when we are doing the circle. So that's the first rule, equality. Rule number 2, we stay on topic, okay? And the topic is spirituality. Now, some of you could say, well, spirituality is sort of mixed in our reality. I walk down the street and the Creator's there, and I go to work and the Creator's there. I understand. But there's nothing worse and more annoying than someone saying, you know what, I went down to the market today and all of a sudden I saw the Creator in front of me, and then I noticed that the price of fish went up. And then I realized that it's the Creator that he's jacking up the price of fish. And all sorts of other things that are really talking about money and spirituality. What this does is it brings the quality of the conversation way down. It corrupts the desire. Remember, we've been waiting all day for this workshop and to talk about spirituality and build that vessel, that spiritual desire. And someone is talking about money, okay? Talking about sex, talking about food, talking about work, we have to be very careful about these things. I mean, if we do talk about just regular desires in our regular day life, then it has to be very, very much on point, okay? Because we want to keep our desire up, okay, and pure. So that's the second thing. We want to stay on topic. Third rule, everyone speaks. So everyone is important, everyone is valuable, everyone has a perspective, right? Because you are all unique. In fact, the root of your soul, your spiritual root, is unique. No one else can do what you do. So I want to know what you have in your heart. And we all need to know what's in your heart. If you are shy and you really don't want to speak or you don't know what to say, you can also just repeat what someone said, right? Someone said something that you liked, and you could just repeat that, maybe change the words a little bit. It's not what you say. It's your participation in the circle, okay? Now, the opposite is also true. If someone really loves to speak, we don't expect that person to speak for 5 minutes, right? So maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, right? But, speaking too much is also an issue. So everyone speaks because that adds value. It adds value to this desire, to this dish that we're trying to put together. Okay? So rule number 4, which is the backside of everyone speaks. Everyone listens. Very simple. But this is not just a regular listening that you're just sitting there. You have to actively listen. You have to be almost like sitting up in your chair with a very alert attitude. Remember that if you're sitting with 10 friends and you speak for a minute and everyone speaks for a minute, for 90% of the time you will be listening, right? For the next 9 minutes, you will be listening. So how do you listen? The quality of your listening is super important, super important. You are looking at your friend talk, and you are trying to blend in with them, to absorb their desire. You want to give them the impression, the support as well, that you are interested, that you are listening, that you are supporting them, so that maybe then they can open their heart a little more. Okay, they need to feel that support. Okay, so listening is super important. It's probably the most important thing that we do is listening. It's not the answers. It's not how smart you are. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. No arguments, criticism, or judgment. Okay, this is terrible. Now, it's not just judgment in the negative sense of the word that I say, oh no, you're absolutely wrong, and I just blurt that out in front of everyone, okay? It's also positive judgment as well. So let's say a friend says something and I think it's great. I'm not going to say, hey, by the way, I think that what Johnny is saying is absolutely right. He got it right. What he said is fantastic. It's brilliant. And I support him, of course, and Johnny is right. So what, is everyone else wrong? Really? You see? So that type of sort of positive judgment, it also divides, it also places us in some type of hierarchy that we don't want. And it makes the person that you just sort of uplifted and made outstanding also feel uncomfortable, because that person is also trying to blend in and be as one, okay? So arguments, absolutely not. Criticism, we didn't come to criticize, we didn't come to be smart, we didn't come to be right, we came to connect, okay? So super important. We rise above antagonism and irritation, okay? We're human, this is bound to happen. In fact, probably more than you might expect, all right? So the tone of their voice, how long they speak, the way they speak, their point of view is completely opposite to what you think. However, if you feel antagonism, if you feel criticism, if you feel irritation, then great, because this is a good place for you to do some self-reflection and rise above that. In fact, we all have to rise above that, because we're building a new reality above our mind. This is called above reason. Okay, that's where spiritual reasoning is in unity. It's not in my reason. So how can I judge? How can I qualify someone? Right? And how can I possibly argue? There's no space for that in the circle. All right? Okay, so finally, and probably the most important out of all these rules that we have, is we aim for connection. Okay, so we came to connect. That is the intention. it's not, I mean, the action is in line, the desire is in line, and of course our intention needs to be in line, okay? We came to connect, we didn't come to learn something, actually. That's really not right. We could learn something, absolutely, but the intention has to be that we came to create that connection, and in that connection we're going to reveal the upper force. Okay, we're building the Kli. So those are the rules of the workshop. Like I say, there are 7 rules. There may be some variations that you may see from other instructors. There may be something lacking in other sets of rules. It's fine, you know, but with these rules, you're going to have the basics, and after a while, you're not going to need them anymore, okay? So we're going to have these rules included in the supplementary material at the end of this class, so you can go in there, you can download these, print them off, and have them close by when we start practicing. Now, the next part of this clip, of this module, is on organizational considerations. Now, there's a few tips here that I want to share with you that will allow you to organize yourselves better, and so everything goes smoothly when you start practicing these. Okay, so organizational considerations. The first one is that obviously the workshop needs to be more than one person. 2, but 3 is better. Okay, so the more the better. You need to have a conversation, you need to have a giving and receiving. There has to be like a circle. So you can work with 2, but hopefully there'll be more. Up until 10, 11, that's ideal. If you have more than 11 people or 12 people, and everyone is speaking about a minute and a half, you can imagine that by the time it goes around the circle, it'll be have 12, 13, 14, or even 15 minutes. And it's really hard to stay connected and engaged all that time. We want everyone to feel that it's going to be their turn too, so they have to listen and talk fairly frequently. So if we're going to be doing a workshop for 45 minutes, we want to be speaking at least 4 times, right? So any more than 11 or 12, maybe it's a good idea to split yourselves off into 2 groups of 6 and 7s, something like that. Okay, so you can all participate more. The next consideration, have a clear and compelling topic. Now, obviously the topic is going to be spirituality, is going to be around connection, but it should be very clear. So it should be on something specific, something that folks can prepare on, that they know about, that they can speak to, not so general. A good idea sometimes is for you to prepare it together. Maybe get a few friends and say, okay, what should we talk about? The freedom, the arvut, should we talk about perception of reality, the creator, the ego? There's all sorts of topics, but choose a topic very clearly, and then from there you can organize the questions that you are going to be fielding for the workshops. Okay? Third, may need a facilitator. Yep, you may need someone for your first lesson, for your first session, for your second session, you may need a facilitator. Now, the facilitator's role is really just to emphasize the connection, to kind of harmonize. He's almost invisible. Like the moderator is not the person that comes and starts to control and is the loudest and starts to manipulate and be heavy-handed. Not at all. The moderator is someone that's very subtle, that just gets everything going, lets everything settle down, get in the mood, and everything flows in an organic way. Okay, and he practically disappears. You may need that for the first or the second time, okay? So we will do our best to be with you on those occasions. Great. The next one is you may need a speaking object. So a speaking object can be a pen, some token, something that you have in your hand, and when it's your time to speak, you have that in your hand, right? And then you will pass it on to someone else next to you, and that person will take it, and it means that that's the person that's speaking. Now, some groups, they don't use that. I've seen some groups that do use it all the time, and others, sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. We don't use that here. We don't feel the need, but you know, it also helps to determine who's speaking and keep everyone focused. All right, so that's called a speaking object. Moving from left to right. Now, you need an order, right? You can't just be all over the place. It can't be random. You can't be having one person like talking every other person. It has to go round in a circle. We go from left to right. Okay, so the person that's to my left is going to speak before me, then it comes to me, and then it goes round to the other side, right? So it's round. We do it that way. If you're on Zoom or if you're on any type of internet conferencing system, then you may need someone that can see the images of all the participants and call the name out so that there is an order, so that you can see it on your screen and you know what the order is. But you need to have an order so it is fluid, it is organized, and each one knows when he's supposed to speak. All right. Include an intention. All right. So very important. Include an intention at the beginning. You can read something from Rabash, Balasulam, Rav Lightman, something that really goes to the heart, that'll help you prepare. You can even read something in the middle, after you've done a couple of questions, something at the end also, to give thanks, to mark the end of the session. So that is always essential, just to verbalize the intention with a friend so that you're all starting off on the same page. So those are the rules that we are going to be presenting to you today for your workshop. Again, I could give you 12 rules or I could give you just 3, but we think that those 7 encapsulates the essence of what you need to give and have top of mind. And the organizational considerations, please have them close by and refer to them when you start organizing your own workshops. So that is the end of this module. Again, you'll be able to find all the materials below on the website, so you can print that out and you can have it close by. And so we'll continue with our next module. We are going to be talking about some of the things that you will experience in the workshop, some of the things that will become revealed to you and that you need to understand before you go in and start doing this work. So we'll see you then. Thank you.